Hello, my friends. Okay, today I want to take you alongside on how I made these super cute, adorable tulips. I just want to start off with real quick. This is probably a little bit more of a challenging flower. There's a lot more elements to it, different techniques, but if you take it one step at a time, I totally think you can do it, and it's probably, hopefully, easier than you think. And the fun thing about this flower is I just want to show you the amazing flexibility of this flower. So all of these stems are on their own individual wires that you can manipulate and push in any direction you want. All of our petals are on wire, so you could even have a tulip that's like, oh, I want my tulip open. Oh, now I have an open tulip. Oh, now it's I want a closed tulip, and just push it right back closed. I love the flexibility of this flower, the fact that you could have so many of these sitting in a vase and literally just have them in all different stages of the flower. I also am going to show you how I watercolored these flowers, which gives them so much more, like just, it just gives them so much more realism, and it just helps give you the option of just creating the perfect color schemes. I honestly believe when you see tulips out in nature that they're literally like just watercolored beauties anyway, so why not bring watercolor to felt and make them just like what you would see out in nature. All right guys, let's go ahead and get started on how to make this super adorable tulip. Also stick around to the end and I will tell you exactly how to get all of the supplies and everything you need to make this at home. All right, first things first is you are going to get a freezer paper stencil of all of the tulip. I have the digital download of this in my shop, or I have a handy dandy kit that I'll tell you more about where this will be included within that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get our felt. I'm only gonna cut out one petal right now, but there's two sizes of petals for each flower. So you have it's really kind of hard to tell, but they're pretty dang close in size. So for instance, these ones are just a hair skinnier and a hair smaller. So you have 3 internal petals and 3 outside petals. They're just a little bit different. So right now I'm just gonna show you how to cut the larger one. So this is a freezer paper stencil and I literally just cut out one petal. But you could lay the whole sheet down on your felt and then iron it all on once and cut it all at once at the same time. I grabbed another scrap piece of felt here as my heat safe surface. That way I'm not destroying my cutting mat. So I'm gonna throw down what I'm cutting, my freezer paper stencil. There's a shiny side and a matte side. The shiny side is going down onto the felt, and that is the waxy surface that's actually like gluing it and melting to your felt. But I assure you, it does not damage it, and in fact, it makes an excellent stencil for your hand cutting. Okay, so I've got my iron on the highest cotton setting with the steam off. I'm just gonna throw this down. On the first time, it doesn't take much at all to melt that wax and get that onto your felt. I'm putting, you know, a little bit of pressure, but not a ton. I'm using my big giant shears on how to do this. We're gonna just go ahead and cut our petal out, and it's just gonna follow the line perfectly. And that is what makes these freezer paper stencils so amazing. So what I used to do too is when my kids were little and I was picking them up, my kids are still little, when I would, you know, soccer practice or whatever, I would prep a bunch of these freezer paper stencils, take them to soccer practice, and just sit there and cut while they practiced, which is also super handy. So easy peasy, I just pull it off and now I have a petal here. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna watercolor our tulip petals. This is also something that if you're gonna go ahead and watercolor them, you need to know that they need about 24 hours to dry before that you could actually use them for your project. It might be sooner, it might take less time than 24 hours, but your petals need to dry. Okay, so I'm gonna get a bowl of water here and we're gonna get some watercolors. So these are Crayola watercolors. They work great. Super cheap ones. This was $6 at Hobby Lobby. Later when I talk about how you can get all of this from me in your kits, you'll actually get some of these watercolors with your kit. You're gonna get these 2 sets. It's a set of 16, but this is the set of 24 colors, so they have a few more, but this is what your kit will come with. So this is the fun part. You get to decide what color you want to do. I suggest you go on Pinterest, Google, search tulips, find real tulips out in the wild, and look at what their color schemes are. What colors you want in your home, what colors you want wherever you're gonna display these, and kind of decide ahead of time and have kind of an example. The biggest help when doing any sort of art is that we might have a vision in our head, but trust me, our brain lies to us like all the time. Have a reference photo. It'll just take off so much pressure off when you go to do it and you're like, wow, that looked way better in my head. The first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of our petals and we're actually gonna submerge them in water. I'm gonna squeeze them out a bit too. So we're gonna go ahead, submerge them, and get out a lot of the excess water. Try to keep your small petals together and your large petals together. I know that's really close and you can't tell all the time, but for these petals, I think I'm gonna go with orange actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I know I said orange, but I'm dipping it in the green. We're gonna throw some paint into the green because I'm gonna do a green bottom. Usually where that stem meets the bottom of the petal, some green kind of leaks up on there. So I'm gonna get some green. I'm putting quite a bit of water in my pan because I don't want it super, super saturated. I also have another video coming out about how to watercolor in felt. So this is an old yucky brush. It's nothing special. In fact, it's like falling apart on me. But what I like about it is it's giving me just this like fanning. It's giving it more of an organic feel. So something to think about is that because our felt is wet, the paint is gonna travel really, really quickly. So in this situation, less is way more. So you want to barely dip your brush in, have it very loose. You don't want it super saturated, and just very lightly bring this up. In fact, I'm just literally not even getting more paint on my brush right now. I would also suggest getting some scrap felt and just practicing. Give yourself a chance to just make sure you like what you're doing before you put it on your petals. We're gonna rinse our brush. Now I'm gonna do the orange. So I'm gonna bring in a lot of water here again. Mix this around. I'm gonna get a scrap piece here and just make sure. It's coming off a lot more yellow than I wanted it. So I'm gonna go grab some of this orange. Here we go. I like that, it works better. It's more of like a tangerine. We're changing it up, guys. So we're gonna get this orange instead. And this is why we practice on some scrap first. Some more water in there. So this is how I did the purple one, for instance, is I just, you know, we're taking the edge and just kind of bringing it back down. We're gonna put more paint around the edges. Just kind of slowly bring it down. And just a lot of light strokes, bringing this down, the paint down, where it's more like ombre, where you've got a lot of color on the top and just lightens up towards the middle. Ombre is just having a very subtle gradation of color from dark to light, light to dark, which is exactly what we're doing here. And so make sure you're adding more water as you're using it too, because if you notice there's just a difference between the middle ones and then this one, where like this is more of a subtle blended and these are getting a little splotchy, and that's because there's less water, but totally okay. I really do feel like tulips in nature just totally remind me of watercolor. Okay, so you can even bring your brush back in and kind of add more water to your piece too. Ta-da! That's it. Super easy. Try not to overthink it. Simpler is better. Dark at the top, bring it down, or just look in nature. Some of them are, you know, very much only in the middle. Some are all the way around the edges. Just look around, find something that really resonates with you and what you want to see for your tulips, and then go in that direction. Okay, so before you just put these aside for about 24 hours to let them dry, what I like to do is prop them up. This is gonna help them dry faster and give them a little bit more shape when they dry. So I'm literally just kind of folding them on themselves. I'm gonna put a finger and fold it. Just give them some shape. This helps get airflow underneath as well as giving the petal shape. So, all right, so you're gonna go ahead and let these dry for about 24 hours or until they are dry to the touch. So I'm gonna set these guys aside. All right, so while your petals are drying, so right now we're going to focus on our center, the pistil, stamen, and all that stuff, and our leaves. The things we're gonna make now, I'm gonna open this guy up, is this center part. Okay, so this is a 6" by 1.5" strip of felt here. And then this is a 1/2" strip of a light yellow color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply glue right to the long edge. We're not gonna glue it on perfectly. We're gonna only glue on half of this piece right here. Glue it on nice and tight. We're gonna flip it over, and then we're actually going to fold this at this point. So we're gonna make a long white piece with a little tip of yellow at the top. It's a little bit thicker. And this is where, you know, the pollen is and all that stuff. So we're pretending that this yellow piece is the pollen. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I know one of them's like the stamen and the pistil, and I'm trying to remember all my like 7th grade life sciences. We're gonna put another piece of glue down, and we're gonna fold this over. And glue. Just put a lot of pressure. If you missed any spots, just go back and add a little bit more glue. Okay, so anytime I'm doing anything that's rolled like this, I do cut off one end just to give me a very clean starting point. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make snips. We're not gonna go all the way down, and we're gonna make them as thin as possible. We're gonna go basically 1 inch down. So we have this little flare. And we're gonna do 7 of these. You don't wanna make them too thin because the felt will fall apart if you do it too thin. So just be a little conscious. You want thin enough where it looks delicate, but not thin enough that it'll break. If you do this whole thing, you'll have more than enough if you mess up. So I am doing 7 of these. What is that? 6, no, 7. I know, on the 7th one, I'm going all the way down. And then now you have your center. Next thing you're gonna do is this little part. I don't know, is this the stamen and these are the pistils? Or is that the pistil? That's the stamen? Let me know in the comments. So this one is about 1¼ inch by 1¼ inch. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that about here. And so we're gonna fold this in thirds. So about 1/4 inch over, we're gonna fold it in half and glue it. This part's kind of tricky, so if you wanna like dry fit it first, it might be smart. So actually I'm gonna fold it this far. And then you wanna have enough, since we're folding in thirds. So about right here, we'll have enough. So I'm actually folding over just a teensy bit. I'm gonna glue this, fold it over, and then we're gonna do the same thing. So now, how I'm doing this, so I'm making my next little loopy here. So fold over. Technical terms are escaping me. So if you push it really hard and really smush it, you can have a fold line, and that'll help guide you where to put your glue. Okay, so you have that fold line. I'm gonna put another piece of glue right next to it and fold it. And then we're gonna do our last one. So now we have this last little flap, and then we're gonna fold this one in just like this to make 3 little pieces. Go ahead and put some more glue. And fold. The goal is to get a piece that looks like this. Next, we're gonna get our wire. This is an 18 gauge wire. You're gonna find that opening, fold it all open. We're not gonna go all the way to the top, just close to the top. Put a little bit of bead of glue And just drop our wire right in between. And then fold it over and hide that wire right in the middle of our centerpiece. Donut mark down here. Ta-da! Now we're going to add some glue on the bottom of this and roll this on. You want it to be tighter and loose, smaller than you need, because you want to really stretch it around so that these little pieces just kind of flare out. So if you really push and stretch the bottom, it's going to cause those to flare out a little bit and give it just a little bit more pizzazz instead of them just being, you know, tight up on it. So that just kind of gives it a little bloop, bloop, bloop. Now you have your center. And now we're gonna start working on our leaves. So for your leaves, you need 1.5 inches by 12, and you're gonna cut it in half to get 2 leaves out of it. So, okay, so these leaves are gonna be hand cut using your nice long shears. You're gonna go ahead and start and just kind of cut a leaf shape. I like to give mine just a little bit of squiggles, not so perfect, and then come down. You wanna come at one point, you want a point, and at the bottom, you want just a little bit of a lip. So I'm gonna start here at my point again. And don't worry about making these perfect. And then come down, and that's that flat portion I'm talking about, and then your pointy portion. So you're gonna do this twice, like so. Next thing, you're gonna cut this guy in half. Straight down the middle. We're gonna take some 22 gauge wire, and we're gonna glue and sandwich this wire between the 2 leaves. This is gonna give that leaf that flexibility of having that internal wire to move it wherever you want. So you're gonna put just a teensy bit of glue around on the edge of one side of your leaf. Put your wire down right on top of that glue line. Careful with putting your fingers on the hot glue. There you go. And then we're gonna put glue right back over that wire. Teensy, try to do as little as possible because you don't want the glue to seep out the edge. And then you're gonna layer this leaf right on top, just enough to cover the glue and the wire. I'm just really pushing down to make sure that it's on there. And then going on the other side and really pushing that down. And this will just give you that like flexibility to do whatever you want with your leaf. All right, I'm gonna trim this and give ourselves about 1.5 inches on the bottom. We're gonna set that aside. We're gonna do the same thing, and you should have enough wire to do it on the other side. I'm pushing down. If at all, like your top pieces don't line up, you can just snip it real quick. So now we have our leaf number 2 that we could bendy. Now we're gonna pretend like 24 hours have passed and I have a nice little dried petal that I did a few days ago. This is just a different version. This is just the yellow from the watercolor kit with a little bit of green at the bottom. So I came up from the bottom this time instead of the one I showed you in the purple one where it came from the top. I'm gonna get a 4-inch 22 gauge wire. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut this petal in half, right down the middle. And we're gonna glue this up the exact same way as we did the leaves. Super, super simple and easy and the same. So we're gonna put a little bead of glue right at the edge, throw our wire on our petal, put a little bead of glue over our petal. And glue that down. So we're gonna go ahead and do that on all of our petals. So we have 3 sort of large ones and 3 smaller ones. They're really close in size, but they are noticeably smaller and larger. Now let's assemble. We are going to use some floral tape. Now, depending on how long your wire is, depends on how much tape that you need. I don't like working off the roll because I feel like the roll just kind of gets in the way and I don't feel like I can pull it tight enough. So I like to just measure some out. I'm measuring about 36 inches, but I'm also using about a 16-inch wire. So it totally depends on how long your wire is, on how much tape you're gonna need, how much you're wrapping. If you're wrapping a lot, you're gonna need more tape. If you're, doing a more of a looser wrap, you're gonna need less. So until you get an idea, maybe just always overestimate how much you need. I usually have a pretty good idea. It's about double the wire length almost. This is about 36 inches. So we're gonna get our wire now, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a few little turns on this just to get it started. And I'm doing it right at the base of our felt here. Now, in order to activate your floral tape, you need to just pull, and what it does is it opens it up, and that's when the wax gets exposed, and then the wax sticks to itself, basically. Okay, so we're gonna take our 3 smaller petals and we're gonna put them on in thirds. I am butting it up right to the edge here. Oh, see, already it's coming off, because you've gotta really, that first little bit to get started, you really gotta pull tight. Not tight enough to rip it, but tight enough to really open it up. I'm going around quite a few times for this first one just to get it started. All right, so we're gonna throw on another petal. I'm only going around a few more times. I'm doing that again. Now we have our first top 3, so these are about on there at thirds. Don't worry about how it looks right now, because right now we're just getting them on, and then we're gonna like mess with them and place them when we're done. So now we're gonna cut this right in half and do thirds right over the 2 petals. So we have that one. So this is our next 2 where these 2 meet. We're gonna meet it right in half and put another petal there. I'm wrapping about 2 times per petal. So that's there, and this one, it goes here. And because they're on wires, you can move them around all you want. So we're just gonna wrap really, really tight all the way down. So I'm pulling on the tape, wrapping, pulling, wrapping, pulling, wrapping, all the way down. So when you get about yay down, you can kind of like dry fit your leaf and see where you want it to land at the top. I actually kind of like it right there. So now we're gonna add our leaf on. And I'm pulling and twisting. I'm gonna grab another leaf, throw it about right there. And I'm butting it up right up to the felt, so you really can't see any of the wire. I'm pulling and twisting. And I'm gonna go all the way down. And it kind of depends on how much of an angle you're going at, how much you're overlapping, depends on how much tape you're gonna need. The only thing I hate about this floral tape is it leaves your hands waxy and gross, but fun tip, water and soap will not take it off. The only thing that I found to take it off is lotion. Okay, hold on, let's finish this off real quick. So I'm gonna, on our last few ones, we're just gonna pull really tight and rip it off. So tight that it's just really sticking to itself there. Okay, gets a little bit of lotion on your hands. So whenever I get that super waxy, gross feeling, I grab a little bit of lotion and I just lotion up my hands, and I swear this lotion gets all of that nasty wax off my fingers so that I can keep going, because honestly that wax is just like so irritating. I tried so many different things to get this stuff off of me, and I was like, I couldn't handle it. Like, ah, even soap, like Dawn dish soap doesn't even take it off. So anyways, lotion, it's gone and it feels great. Okay, so I had a little bit of tape left over, but I would rather have a little bit of waste than not enough. You could always add more though, essentially. If you ran out like here, you could just get another strip and keep going. Okay, so I'm gonna bend my leaves back. I'm gonna bend my outer petals back, and we're gonna focus on our 3 inner petals. Okay, I'm gonna bend my wire so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so our top 3 petals here, I'm just gonna hit in the middle and just kind of bend them up and over. So we're just giving them a little bit of shape. We're just rounding our petals. And this is, I'm kind of forming it for a tight, closed tulip right now. So then we're gonna do our same thing and just round it and bring these ones up and over. Just like so. And we can really, really smush them in if you want a closed tulip. If you want to have something that's just like oh, we're starting to bloom and open up. You can open it up. You can get it as large as you want. You can close it up. And that's what I love about putting wires on each petal. It just gives you the flexibility to do what you want with them. Okay, and then we're gonna just bring up the leaves to where those feel good. And then voila, you have a tulip. So it was a little bit, you know, there's a little bit more technique to this one. There's a little bit more waiting time on this one, but hopefully at the end of this, you can realize it's really not that hard. It's totally manageable. You just need to take your time, give the time that you want for your art, because that's really what it is. You don't want to rush through this one. If you would like all of the supplies on how to make this tulip, link below to my shop. I sell a full kit that will come with every single thing that you need for this kit. It'll come with the watercolors, it'll come with the felt, the wire, everything. Aside from the glue gun and scissors that you're gonna need. It'll come with the stencils and also paper instructions to help you along as well. So, if you want to do this completely on your own, you can also check out my shop. I have all of the felt colors that you could possibly want, and you could make it in any color you want. You're not limited to the white base color. You know, you can do whatever you want. You could do, you know, a pink felt and add some more color to it as well. It is endless possibilities of what you could do with the different colors of tulips. So be sure to check out my shop and check out the kits that I have. There's lots of other kits and tutorials there as well. Also hit that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss more future tutorials, and hit that bell because, I mean, honestly, there's more tutorials coming and you do not want to miss out on all of the amazing fun knowledge that you're gonna get. Let me know what you think about this kit in the comments and tell me what you want to see next. If you guys are making any of these tulips, please tag me at the Hardwood Forest on Instagram because I want to see your work. So thanks guys, catch you next time.